アットアットじゃトラ商店。アットアット、アット KLSHNIKOVNEWS。
メディアグループ
鉄尾谷木阿賀野一さん星光ベルーナ若さたな IKOVA 時代 WA 男子アット経営
Emmanuel is as host. I would like to talk to you today about legislative assemblies. A legislative assembly in the United States is typically, with respect to political discussion, going to be one of three things. It's going to be a local city council, it's going to be a state legislature, or it's going to be Congress. Those are the three main legislative assemblies in the United States. There's no way on earth that a city councilman, state senators, people were fully aware of what was being unleashed on the American public when gangstalking was implemented as a national security protocol. Congress never in anybody's wildest dreams ascertained that those national security measures would manifest as gangstalking. They likely, in the aftermath of 9/11, got some 10,000-page national security bills passed across their desk, and simply just sign the whole thing. We're not going to vet it. We're not going to comb through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that there are no deleterious stipulations in there. We're just going to take this 10,000, 15,000 page bill, which can have really anything in it. You don't know what's in there. It could be anything in that bill. Anything. They could be literally legalizing anything in that bill, and no one reads it before ratifying it. And neither does the president. So these are not so much complaints as they are observations. I knew these things about Congress, state legislatures, and city councilmen for 15 years now. But I was never of the mindset that they had no idea the types of stuff they were passing. Now, I can understand if there were camera cameras on every street corner. This country would be a lot. The United States can afford it, too. And that would eliminate the need for something like gangstalking, which is obviously an auxiliary to the Department of Justice, which again does a phenomenal job keeping this country safe. They just let something fall through the cracks into the American public, and some of the stuff is harmful. Now, it's all about checks and balances. Okay? The executive, judicial, and legislative country all check and balance each other. Neither is more powerful than the other in the grand scheme of things, and they share power. And there's reciprocity with respect to which one has check the gangstalking mechanism. There's no rules to it. There's no rhyme, there's no reason. It is chaos. It is the Wild West. But I mean, it's obviously disruptible. It's disruptible. I mean, it's disruptible, and I laid the blueprint on how to disrupt it. Okay? You look at me on Facebook, you will see a definitive guide to gang stalking. Okay? You read my Facebook page, you got the Bible of gang stalking right there. And
wow.
It's all there for you in 30 different languages for international audiences. More on gang stalking to come. Listen up. The time is at hand. Which is a very thuggish program that the U.S. has passed through national security corrupt, violent, thuggish, and brutish signaling mechanism that gangstalking there are many clandestine ways of becoming a targeted individual. It goes by gang stalking, hate stalking, cause stalking, community harassment, and covert war. Listen to these words. They are the truth about this fuckery. Person's location. And a targeted person is marked in some way 24 hours a day. When I say marked, it means that at some point, at least once an hour every day, sometimes more, a signal to let other stalkers know who the mark is, basically the target, who the target is, and where they are exactly. This is done through noise. This is done through physical. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Haven't experienced it. It appears learned. It appears that these stalkers teach each other how to do this stuff simply through example. Like, I'm not sure there's a class. A person, particularly one like myself, would never think to use anything like this against another person. It has no place in, especially not in a country that its core protocol is disruption. Its core protocol is containment. If no one was awareness, now people know what to look for. Personal. Making the appropriate parties aware. So not everybody has experience from that perspective. Not a lot of people can identify with what's being said to targeted persons. If you understand a targeted person's perspective, then you're going to be able to understand the program in more depth. Mentally legalized gangstalking if accidentally implemented it as a part of a national security package. Well, now that we know gangstalking exists, now we know to examine national security packages like gangstalking will never happen. That could jeopardize the constitutional rights of the citizens here in this country. That's pretty much the gist at this point. To raise bill that doesn't understand and votes yes on it, and it goes to the president, like they didn't understand it either. Because a lot of his political knowledge is wrong. Then when it's approved by the president, I'm highly critical of the people that participate in gang stalking, namely gang stalkers themselves. I'm highly critical. And that's because, personally, I'm highly critical of the thing. I don't see its value. All it does is understand what's happening to the degree that I have, and men, women, and children are targeted most. I'm That's at the local, state, and federal levels. It's a situation where all we can do is hope, because a program like this could take decades to fully investigate. It could take decades to fully investigate gang stalking, what's been implemented. It could take 50 years. And then all the targeted persons will be either too old to understand the changes or deceased. It could take a long time to investigate this and fully repeal its formed and marked police, and then you're going to have your know at all that they're law enforcement. That is a good way to patrol. That is a good way to patrol. That's a solid way to state. So they're obligated to a standard of professionalism. Now, if everyday Joe Schmo type of everyday citizens are participating in a semi-policing mechanism that is unmarked, they are not wards of the state, they are not sworn law enforcers, they're simply people taking signals and acting on cues and commands. You know, as Christians, we really predict stable community relations and so forth, but civilization is one until it was finally done away with. Here's your host, well, Isaiah Smith, about changing of the guards, or as they're referred sometimes as new orders. So at some point, in government, in the judiciary period, the majority of the population will decide that they don't like the trajectory of the social construct in which they lived. And if they can convince enough politicians or policymakers as to why the trajectory of the social order should change, you could see radical change in a very short period of time, politically, socially, economically. These are called new orders. An example of a new order would be the end of the Romanov dynasty. The Romanovs were the royal family in the Roman Empire generations, and at some point, either the powers that be, the people, or a combination of the powers that be and the people, in Russia to remove the Romanovs from power and install a government based on the communist philosophy. That's the government that radical change in a government or society over a short period of time. These new orders are they're history changing. It isn't just the population of the that feels the effect of the country that has any relationship with that country, period. Be it culturally, be it socially, be it economically, be it politically. It changes not only that country, but the countries around it. Now, in the United States, the new order is gangstalking. This system of signals, cues, verbal commands, vehicular maneuvers, all of these things point to a radical change in a short period of time of the behavior of the citizens in this country. And some people are plugged into the mechanism and some people are not plugged into the mechanism. The entry of a person's vital statistics into any sort of government database or other digital mechanism designating them as a threat to society without any type of habeas corpus or evidentiary process is a part of how targeted persons are selected. It is an unfortunate program. It is a degenerate program. It is one that threatens to undermine the Constitution if it hasn't already. It also threatens to undermine the Bill of Rights and any other statute, law, or precept that guarantees civil liberties, civil rights, and inalienable rights to every citizen. That it has order in this country disappointing the human capital, technology, all the resources, business resources, economic resources, credit, etc., etc. You'd think that the American socio-political machine would move forward much cleaner, much classier, much more sophisticated, much more elegant, much more cognizant of constitutional rights and liberties and what that represents. However, we don't have that. We essentially have a mob rule, and this mob wants similar conditions to Jim Crow. The directors of the mob want similar conditions to Jim Crow. They want people to stay to themselves, ethnically, religiously, racially, and sociologically. They're communicating that in so many different ways, almost as if they are preparing society for the re-implementation of Jim Crow. And they're re-implementing it in an impersonal way. There are no signs up that says no people of this particular socioeconomic demographic can come into this store, this restaurant. But if a person that goes into that store or restaurant does not fit the socioeconomic or demographic mold of the type of customer that they want in that store, that person might experience gangstalking or community harassment or some other mechanism that's tied to these programs and protocols and so forth that I've been talking about for about 8 years now. The Congress of the United States. So regardless of whether or not the gangstalking mechanism, the mob rule mechanism, the synchronization mechanism, the signaling mechanism, it doesn't mean that it is not in actuality functioning and moving, not only against targeted persons, but against other stalkers. I mean, it's something that people ought to be briefed on. It's something. The Supreme Court will evaluate it and see if it's constitutional or not. But one thing that I've learned about the United States of America is this. It is willing to be wrong or be erroneous with respect to this program if it keeps the greater community safe. That's part of what this is. It's sort of a conundrum of priorities. I don't think for a minute that the national security or intelligence community in this country would say, you know what, there are 100,000 people in this country that may be legitimate targeted individuals. Let's pull the plug on the whole program just to satisfy those people, those targeted persons, those TIs. We'll pull the plug on the whole thing just to make them happy. That's not going to happen. They would actually rather see all 100,000 targeted in the program perish so that they can collect the data concerning what they experienced and how they reacted to it. They believe that data can help them implement similar programs in the future or understand people better, quite frankly. So they see their work, the particular citizens they're trying to protect, and the new trajectory of the American society benefits them, and they want to benefit the above name through gangstalking. It's designed to help some and hurt others based on X, Y, and Z factors. Disease spreading, which is an actual thing here in the United States. Now, I'm not talking about a situation criminally. I'm not talking about some homicidal nutcase going around intentionally infecting somebody as a part of a vigilante mission. And I'm talking about orchestrated, staged, federally derived instances of a diseased person being signaled to a person's location with the intent of infecting that person. Now, I'm getting ready to move to a new location because as I was talking, obviously I'm some sense of what I'm talking about, so he can go tell his henchmen later what I'm saying, be it on a phone or in a video. They don't know what I'm doing, they just hear me talking. So, you could take a psychopathic, degenerate nutcase who wants to go around and inflict diseases on as many people as he possibly can before he's caught, and dealt with. It's a situation where these things are being orchestrated and derived. The question you might ask yourself is, do daily basis. You got guys being flagged using a system of signals, and then a number of human waste baskets. Accept missions to find whoever the target is, even though this diseased U.S. citizen doesn't know that person, and walk up to that person and using any number of bodily functions, including sneezes, coughs, yawns, and other disgusting gestures directly at the target with the intention of off the day you'll cover it's upset with them. Snark, soft, zin, skill, Mr. Snuff, without Burma, meaning is we, sure, as it's performing. Sure, good, is it, say we, geez, it, said on the beat. Say the girls, the girl that woke me out, this shit, let's skip. It's happy, women. Urban, none of that. Swongus, swongus, sends me. Yeah, eggs, I agree. She had delayed the Northeast, son. Hey, the book, I don't just say. She did this, as well, she did the system, she was over the figure and move. Say, close, sad, I mean, yourself, didn't it? I read here, simple. Yeah, was against you. Was this is the like that. You're all the BS and all this easy. It'll fit. And I roll the soul. Shit, done there and it's bit the back of us against the ring. Was they burn off. They lost the racing in the West. I don't know whatever you did. Pretty other than snakes, so let's go to the US side, but it cost my don't want to sit on our side as yes, that's all you'll see back. It costs so I said, oh, just reports, so that you just shake, but we know school, but it don't get my sure, and get death, but next need to shake, what's the circle, so in this need, the circle, geez, it be up. It's it. They are a deal or that. It's video trickle by the boss mom. It should be stand with it, but off was that. You know, this is every was this I don't know it. Shit, the what else am I? What's up in the ghost and my was this why Pentecost Denmark? Yes, did I mean there you have? Oh shit.